Shortly after the Battle of Geonosis, and 22 years before the Battle of Yavin, Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala were married in a secret wedding on Naboo. The only two witnesses were C-3PO and R2-D2. The wedding was kept secret, however, as the war went on and time passed, more and more people found out about the couple. So the question is, who really knew about them? Today, that's what we'll discover. So sit back, relax, and have some cake. And also, it's leap year. It won't be the 29th of February again for 4 years. So, happy leap year. Welcome to Star Wars Timelines. Now, the wedding was kept secret due to Amidala's place as a prominent senator in the Galactic Republic and because of Skywalker's membership in the Jedi Order. The Jedi Code prevented Jedi from falling in love and forming attachments such as marriage. However, this did not stop people from discovering about the marriage. The first person who appears to have known is Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin's former master. Now, Anakin never told Obi-Wan. Yes, he trusted and loved Obi-Wan, but Obi-Wan was still a Jedi, and since this was all against the Jedi Code, he felt the need not to tell him. However, Obi-Wan still appears to have found this out on his own. The first time we see Kenobi suspect something is when Rush Clovis has come to Coruscant to expose the banking clan. Obi-Wan felt a lot of anger in Anakin as Padme and Clovis were working closely, and Rush Clovis was also a former boyfriend of Padme. He confronted his former Padawan and explained to him that it's not that the Jedi aren't allowed to have these feelings, that it is natural, but Anakin shuts him down before he goes any further and says he is just friends with Senator Amidala. The next time we see Obi-Wan suspect something was actually in yesterday's episode of The Clone Wars, A Distant Echo, and this also leads on to the next person that we know knows about the relationship. At some point during The Clone Wars, Anakin told Captain Rex about his relationship. As it appears, Anakin and Rex have some sort of arrangement where Anakin will contact Padme during missions and Rex will stand guard to make sure that no one enters or finds out about it. This would make sense since Anakin will have served with Rex countless times and no doubt the two will have a very strong trust bond. In fact, even in yesterday's episode, we really saw the friendship between the two. So we know that Anakin told Rex. Now, during the battle for Anaxis, Rex was standing guard while Anakin contacted Padme. When Obi-Wan walked over, much to Rex's worry, Rex tried to make up an excuse, but Obi-Wan wasn't really buying it. However, at this point, Anakin walked out and tossed Rex his helmet. The two walked away to begin their mission, but Obi-Wan stopped and said how he hoped Anakin said hello to Padme for him. At this point, Anakin stopped, looked around, and then carried on walking. I think this means that Obi-Wan definitely knew that there was something going on. Maybe he didn't know to what extent, but he at least knew that there was some kind of relationship. By the end of Revenge of the Sith, he definitely had the full story worked out. After Order 66 was dispatched, Obi-Wan and Yoda went in search of the Sith Lord Sidious, otherwise known as Palpatine, and Vader, otherwise known as Anakin, to destroy the Sith once and for all. Obi-Wan went to Padme to find out where Anakin was. At this time, Padme was pregnant with Anakin's child, and refused to give up Anakin's location. As Obi-Wan left, he turned to Padme and asked if Anakin was the father. Padme froze, not knowing how to respond. He said he was sorry and left. So at the end, Obi-Wan pretty much knew the full story of their relationship. He knew something was going on at first, but at this point, this was the final horse crossing the finishing line. Now, the next person who appears to have known was Anakin's Padawan, Ahsoka. Now, Anakin never told Ahsoka, most likely for the same reason he never told Obi-Wan. But Ahsoka, like Obi-Wan, was able to work it out by herself. She never fully admits to either of them that she knows, but definitely hints that she knows. Our first case of this was when Anakin was escorting Padme to a conference. They managed to secure it so they could get some alone time by travelling alone in a Jedi shuttle. However, Obi-Wan sent Ahsoka to go along with them, again hinting he might have known and is now just being a massive troll. While the trio were travelling, they came across a separatist fleet and attempted to escape. However, the ship was shot, sending Padme falling across the ship. Anakin leapt over to her and caught her before she fell down, holding her in an embrace. Ahsoka saw and quickly grabbed the controls. At the end of the mission, Padme remarked how Ahsoka and Anakin made a good team. Ahsoka thanked her, but said she could say the same thing about her and Anakin. Padme looked up and saw Ahsoka smiling. She thanked Ahsoka and walked away. This doesn't mean Ahsoka knew about the wedding exactly, but I think it's safe to say at this point that she'd figured out what was going on there. and that Padme now knew about it. But they definitely knew. Now, the second time Ahsoka hints that she knows that something is going on there is when she's leaving the Jedi Order. As she walks away, Anakin chases her and attempts to convince her to stay. He says that he really understands what it's like wanting to walk away from the Jedi Order. At this point, she turns around, looks at Anakin, and says she knows. Anakin looks back at her, and the two look at each other for a while before Ahsoka walked away. I think it's safe to say here that she's referring to Anakin wanting to leave the Jedi Order for Padme, so he could openly and publicly be with her. Not just by the way she says it, but also by Anakin's surprised reaction. Now, another person who knew about this was Padme's handmaiden, Moti, who caught the couple kissing. Anakin tried to make up some kind of excuse, even though I'm not sure what the excuse he could have come up with. Unfortunately, we'll never know, as Padme says that Moti understands discretion, to which Moti remarks, perhaps better than Anakin. Now, Padme's other handmaiden, Dorme, also knew. Dorme and Moti later talk about the relationship, and Moti asks Dorme if she knew about the relationship. Dorme remarks how Padme is many things but not subtle, and Anakin is even less so. Moti feels that she thinks that the situation is ill-advised, but Dorme says that Padme allows herself so few moments of happiness and asks how they can begrudge the relationship. Moti finishes it off by saying that she hopes it doesn't end badly. Of course, at the end, it kind of does. We also know that at one point or another, Palpatine found out about the couple. In Legends, it was actually Padme's former captain, Panaka, who told Palpatine about the two, after he found out about the couple himself. In canon, we're not actually sure how Palpatine found out. However, we know that he must have found out about it sometime earlier in the Clone Wars. He repeatedly uses this knowledge of the relationship to manipulate Anakin. One example is during a skirmish on Naboo. General Grievous had been captured by Gungans. Palpatine contacted Count Dooku, who was also on the planet in secret. He advised Dooku to lure Anakin into a trap so that they could trade Grievous for him. Dooku asked Palpatine how he could be sure that the Republic would trade Grievous for Skywalker. Palpatine ends the conversation by saying he was sure that Senator Amidala would agree to the terms. If he was so sure that Padme would agree, he must have known that Padme felt strongly towards Anakin, and let's face it, I mean, this is Palpatine we're talking about. He probably knew about the whole wedding. Our next example that Palpatine knew was when Rush Clovis returned to expose the banking clan on Coruscant. Palpatine told Padme to work closely with Clovis to discover the truth. Now, him arranging this, especially when Anakin was present in the room, was, I think, to stoke Anakin's anger. He knew about the relationship and wanted to deepen Anakin's hatred towards Clovis, manipulating him more. He knew that this would also put Padme in danger, and probably hoped that Padme would actually be killed, which would push Anakin much further to the dark side. And then we also know that at the end of the war, Palpatine knew everything, as he actually admits that he knows to Anakin. We also know that Rush Clovis himself knew about the relationship. During his visit on Coruscant, he stayed with Padme in her apartment, and at one point attempted to kiss her. Anakin walked in to see what was going on and attacked Clovis, beating him up. He stopped, realising what he had just done, as Padme's security walked in. At this point, Clovis could have told the security the whole truth and have exposed Anakin. However, instead he told security that there had been an attack, and it was in good fortune to have General Skywalker present. Later, Clovis died during the Battle of Scipio, sacrificing himself to save Padme. At the end of the war, Padme died during childbirth, after her last encounter with Anakin, and Anakin had been defeated by Obi-Wan and was being rebuilt on Coruscant. Present during the actual birth was Master Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Senator Bail Organa. All three of them now knew about the secret relationship. Bail took Anakin's daughter, Leia, to Alderaan to stay with him and his wife, who I'm sure he told about the relationship. Obi-Wan took the son, Luke, to Tatooine to stay with Anakin's stepbrother, Owen Lars, and his wife, Beru. At this point, it's safe to say that they also knew about the relationship. And then during the Galactic Civil War, Luke and Leia also found out about their true parentage that had been kept secret from them. Their Jedi Knight, Anakin Skywalker, and Senator Padme Amidala were their true parents. It's not clear who they told after that, but one could imagine that they would have at least told Han Solo, who Leia ended up having a child with. Then the final information we have is when Leia served in the Senate of the New Republic, where another senator, Castafo, discovered Leia's parentage and publicly announced it in the Senate for all the galaxy to hear. Now, this is all the information we have on this, and everyone we currently know who knew about the relationship. So, I hope you find this video helpful. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.